let's talk a little bit about the actual big storyline here, which is that the New York Jets. Is it too? So this is interesting. I want to ask you this question: did the New York Jets ruin the next 15 years of their franchise today? Like, is that like
maybe,
too
but
much of a
dude,
leap?
I mean, like we've seen this though, right? Like let's go back in history and look at all the guys. Like so, Andrew Luck was it for you know, that was like the one everybody wanted. And Luck had a great career, but ultimately, like, did he change the course of the Indy franchise? Yeah, but not like he's not a Hall of Famer, right? Like, who have been the other ones? Like,
yeah, but
there's so much noise.
Peyton was one, and Peyton
was one, sure, but that was 1998. That was two expansions ago. Like, this is
here's the question though, because the Jets are such a disastrous organization, right? That it will take a hero. You're wearing a Superman shirt. Yeah. It's going to take a hero to turn this around.
Is Douglas, I mean, they actually have, I think, the issue is like they haven't been able to clean house yet, though, right? Like, Douglas is in there, and like from all indications, he's okay. Gase is not very good. And like, but they don't have talent on that. Look, it sucks. It's a huge blow to them. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying like, let's back it up a little bit and realize that the credible intervals for Trevor Lawrence include the credible intervals for Zach Wilson, who I wrote about this week. And I had to rewrite the first part of the article because of that freaking game. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Justin Fields played like dog shit against Northwestern, but he was without his best receiver. There's a little bit of an issue. There's also the Haskins connection where, like, Haskins looked really good at Ohio State too. Looks terrible now. But, like, you were talking about the 2018 draft with me upstairs. It's like, would you redraft that entire thing? Like, Darnold was the consensus one for a long time.
And this is a good one. By the way, you talked about separation earlier. Currently, the thing getting the most separation this entire week is you from your mic.
I have a loud voice. Separation, the second most valuable thing in all
football. Tyler prepares for it. Okay, but this is a great point. So this is what I kind of wanted to talk about. That we just saw Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has the highest PFF grade since week 7. That's when Odell Beckham got hurt. He has the second highest PFF grade behind Mahomes, right ahead Rodgers, and right ahead Deshaun Watson. But if you look at those four, right? If you look at Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold, and you redrafted them, you would go what order?
It's tough, man. You ask last year, and Lamar's clearly the first one. Mm-hmm. Lamar, by the way, hitting his stride a little bit.
Yeah, he played really well today.
But now it's Allen, right? I mean, it's Allen.
I'm taking Josh Allen full stop.
Allen, Lamar, Baker.
I was ahead of the curve, by the way.
A 50 feet of crap, and then, then you're talking. I mean, but there were even people at the time that thought Mason Rudolph might have been a first-round pick, like the 6th quarterback to be taken.
So then you look at this draft, and you go, okay, what are the chances 3 years from now that it ends up going Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, but then 3 years down the road, we're going, I would have taken Wilson. Yeah. I would take Wilson first.
Lawrence is terrific. Don't get me wrong. But, like, he's not a flawless prospect. I mean, he
proposed to his girlfriend already.
There's that. I mean,
Look, decision-making is an important trait. Accuracy.
But he looked like shit against LSU in the national championship game. He threw a decent number of interceptions in the first half of last year. This year,
he got coronavirus.
This year, he got
That's a joke.
But like, he looked really good yesterday against the Notre Dame defense. Like, I would say there isn't a perfect quarterback prospect in college football, and I think Lawrence doesn't break that mold. He's the best prospect in the class.
So what you're trying to say, if I'm reading this correctly, is that this is not as terrible for the Jets.
No.
Okay. Just making
it's sure. Look, it's not good, but it's not the end of the Jets shouldn't fold up shop.
Well, I mean, that's the story.
But that's like when you look at Jets fans on Twitter, or you look at Jags fans. What the Jags have a long way to go, don't they? I mean, even with Lawrence, they have some good receivers, but like, you still probably have to have a new head coach, right? They're thinking about getting.
Is Trevor Lawrence happy right now?
I think the Jags are further along than the Jets.
I agree, but like, I'm trying to put myself in Trevor Lawrence's shoes. I'm not sure if I'm happy.
No. I mean, the weather is better, obviously, in Jacksonville, but it's not as good as Southern
When you're that
Florida.
rich, you can buy good weather.
Yeah,
wherever.
I mean,
you're going.
New York would have been an endorsement. The problem is
Kai
though,
Becton is promising. You have some promising receivers
Mims
there.
and Crowder and Perriman are fine.
You're in New York. You're not
the defense
Jags.
isn't a joke. Like Marcus May
is good.
Quinnen Williams is a very good player. They're probably happy they didn't trade him for peanuts at the deadline.
Adam Gase is an offensive wizard.
Yeah, stop. But like the Jaguars are further along as a franchise. They also probably play, like, this sounds silly, their division is more beatable than the AFC East because the Bills are going to be the class of that division for a long time. The Dolphins are very good. And the New England Patriots are not going anywhere anytime soon with Belichick. So that division is going to be harder to win. I think he has better chance of success in Jacksonville, for sure.
I agree with you.
Like their defense, they drafted a bunch of high upside players this year, many of whom have had high upside plays and things like that. The Jets, on the other hand, like Becton's a good player, Williams is a good player, but they're close to the football. Like they don't. And Mims is fine, but like they don't have a ton of players that make plays away from the football. They also don't have a pass rusher, which that just means you're going to have to pay through the ear for one, which means you can't buy receivers the way that Buffalo has, for example.
So let me tell you who I think obviously this helps the Jags the most, but here's who I think this win/loss by the Jets today helps the most. Every team, including my San Francisco 49ers, that is hoping for a pathway to one of the other two quarterbacks, either Wilson or Fields. Because there is a world where the New York Jets convince themselves that Sam Darnold can keep this thing going, right?
Yeah.
That world does exist. Sam Darnold made some nice throws today. That has to be what would you put the chances of Sam Darnold being the quarterback in New York for the Jets next year at?
It all depends upon their internals. If they think that Fields...
What would it take for you?
For me, given the uncertainty... So I'm pro Fields. Mm-hmm. So
Same.
I would take Fields number 2.
What would it take for me, my Niners, to get you to give me the second?
Well, so let's say the Niners pick at like 12, because that like kind of looks like we're like, well, actually they might be top 10, who knows? But let's
say 10.
Let's say 10. If you gave me 10, your second round pick and a 1 the following year, I'd do it.
You have a deal. I'm doing anything to put Justin Fields in Niners.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd be great. Here's the thing, though. Like, Justin Fields has more utility. So Justin Fields and Zach Wilson and Trey Lance have more utility right now for a team like San Francisco, Minnesota, Carolina, assuming Brady stays. Those players have more utility for a team like that than they do for a rebuilding Jets team.
Right. The Jets are still going to suck.
But not only that, but the Jets don't have the pieces in place to really...
My Niners are a dynasty with Justin Fields.
But look at, because...
He looks great in red.
Yeah, but it was also why the Garoppolo trade wasn't a terrible idea. Because a second-round pick, a big contract, he had a ton of utility to the Niners. I'll say this right now. If Garoppolo played for 15 of the other teams in the league, he'd probably suck. But he's a fine quarterback for the Niners. Maybe not good enough to do what the Niners want anymore, but he had a ton of utility for that team. That's why, for a Niners team, when you look at they traded Buckner because Eric Armstead's coming up, because Nick Bosa's coming up, because
Javon Kinlaw was there.
Well, not only that, but like you're going to lose Sherman. You're going to have to replenish the secondary. Fred Warner's probably due a contract.
Right, you can only pay so many players.
Yeah, and so if you're paying Garoppolo $30 million, it's not a cost-effective thing. If you could trade up and get one of those two guys for $10 million a season, you're back in business, especially since you still have Shanahan. You probably won't have Salah anymore, but you'll have Shanahan.
Yeah, and you have Debo and Ayuk and
right, Kittle. And you have the last few years of Trent Williams. You have McGlinchey and like
Last few years of McGlinchey.
yeah, right. Well, on this earth at least.
Okay, so let's quickly power rank the people that are the most happy with the Jets' loss. The Jags.
The Jags and their fans. Yeah.
Okay. The Niners / all other teams that are hoping for a way into the top 2.
The Niners, Panthers, Colts. Colts are probably too good, but like who knows? Like they might think about doing it. The Eagles did it a few years ago. The Vikings maybe.
The Falcons.
The Falcons maybe. Although Ryan looked. See, this is sorry. I just a rant for a second here. I hate look. Ryan looked so good today for half. Like you watch that game and you're like, why? Why did you turn into fucking Brown and Nagel during these other games? I bet you. We had Tampa -4. I also took a little taste of Atlanta +6, which was kind of nice at the end there when they got that fake first down to seal the game. Matt Ryan was brilliant today.
He was great.
It was unbelievable.
Against the formerly best defense in the NFL.
Right. Well, look, the best defense in the NFL is a crown. The
best defense in the NFL is the defense that just played one of the worst
Tantillo,
offenses.
can you make a crown? Like we should, like let's say week 17, we should do the PFF forecast fake awards. So like the Vikings, best team at establishing the run.
I can't believe that was the one you chose first. I'm really shocked.
The Jets nailed their first round pick in 2017, right? Like or 2019 with Quinton Williams trophy, right? Like the Falcons, yeah, we're the best defense in week 8. We're the best defense in week 9. Like I feel like that's a good bit.
I like that. That'd be a lot of fun, and it was just fun there right now.
But like he looked great today, but I do think Atlanta should someday think about moving on from him because he's frankly too inconsistent.
But they're in a good spot, right? If they wanted to move off from him, now it's open. Fields from Atlanta.
There's also a ton of teams, to your point, like Indy. Matt Ryan would do great in Indianapolis. That's
actually a great one.
San Francisco 49ers. He would do great for the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, he has done great for the 49ers.
Exactly. I mean, even like I don't think he would go to Minnesota. That feels like a lateral move, as weird as that is to say. But like, there's a ton of teams with like ready-made offenses that Matt Ryan could succeed in. If the Falcons wanted to sort of turn this thing around, they could. Some of the teams that maybe let's say Zach Wilson looks really good for us for the Niners, but the Niners internals don't like him. Then they can make that move themselves and take somebody like Matt Ryan off the Falcons.
Now, this is an argument you could make that the biggest winner of this whole thing that I'm going to put in third belongs in first is Bill Belichick.
Well, my reason for making that bet was Belichick was going to lose week 17 to the Jets on purpose.
And he still might.
Although the Bengals are now eliminated for the first pick. It's literally a 2-team race because the worst they could do is 2.
I thought the Bengals could still get it.
The Bengals could be 2-13-1. Oh, that's right. So if both teams won out and the Bengals. Okay, so the Bengals are still alive. But you know what I'm saying? Like
by the way, that'd be incredible. If you're the Bengals and you get the number 1 pick, what do you do?
Well, a football guy would just say take Penei Sewell.
Right.
That'd be great. He's going to be good. So why it's? But obviously you trade the pick.
Okay.
Yeah, you trade the pick. I mean, Burrow's good.
There's some question mark though. I mean, his.
Yeah, but enough to. Like obviously your risk mitigation is high, but essentially, I hate making this argument because I like taking 2 quarterbacks, but I also think Burrow has shown me enough to warrant taking a quarterback at a different time of the draft. Like I would take Brock Purdy in like round 2 if I'm the Bengals. I would take if that's where he's taken. I would take like Mac Jones. I would take other guys. I wouldn't take a top end QB at 1. Because your team stinks. You need other players, and you have a quarterback.
I think I'm taking Trevor Lawrence and seeing how things go. I think that's what I'm doing.
Do you trade Burrow then to like some?
No, I kind of want to wait. I want to see. I want him to duke it out. I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's a good question.
Okay, let's.
Belichick does win that, I think, a little bit, as he always does. He seems to want to win those things.